presentation. Please direct your attention towards the scoreboard.
He's taking it for the extra point. He's jogging off. I mean, he's got a little limp to him, but it just, I guess that blood started filling up. Like a grapefruit by the time we got on. Oh, absolutely. That's great football. Great football.
Dum 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 dum
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, red, white, and blue about his head, a mentality to eat and smash. He growls as he storms the field, a hero big and bold, and the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a Walton raider, pillaging just for fun.
What's up?
He'll knock you round and say ball down, and laugh when he's conquered and won.
All right, welcome everyone to another night of Walton High School football here in Greater Valley. Tonight's opponent, the Newnan Cougars, traveling all the way from Coweta County to face the undefeated Walton Raiders. Walton coming in at 4-0 on the season. Noonan comes in at 2-2. And Chris, another interesting matchup between these two non-region opponents. Last non-region game for both of these teams before the region schedule starts.
It has been some serious competition. I'll tell you what, I'm excited about it tonight, Tim, because we're about to have the inexperienced Zach Rosman, now with a couple drives underneath him, coming back to play some big-time 7A football. So we're looking at a big-time game tonight, even though it's non-divisional, it's non-regional.
Yep, you said it. Austin Kirksey, who was injured in last week's game, came back into the football game and finished it for the Raiders, unable to play this week and could be out for a few weeks. But we'll get a good look at Zach Rossman tonight and probably a little bit more of that Wildcat that we saw last week with Don Blaylock taking snaps back there. So should prove to be a very interesting night and a nice uniform combination here for this last non-region game. The Raiders wearing the blue tops and the red pants. Bringing back the red this year. We haven't had red as part of the color scheme, at least uniform-wise, for the Raiders for many, many years. It goes back to back before I played. We used to have red as part of the uniform combination. So going old school.
Tim, I had a couple of interviews. I got up with Coach Bruner, got up with Coach Hirschfeld today, and I just wanted to find out what's their game plan. Is it going to switch? What are they going to do that's different? They are really, really confident running with Zach Rossman. Coach Hirschfeld expects not to have too much change in the game plan.
Yeah, well, he showed last week when he came in that he can throw the ball. He's got a good, strong arm, throws the ball well. But But one thing is the Raiders need to make sure that they give him plenty of time to throw the football, because when North Gwinnett blitzed last week, that's when Rossman was in trouble and had a couple of strips, had the ball stripped out a couple of times. So hopefully they can give him a little bit of time to throw the football, and if they do, he should be fine.
Absolutely. They talked about being able to keep their quarterback clean, making sure that they keep him upright, and they also talked about getting Zach Rossman through his reads faster and to his receiver, the targeted receiver that the defense would be allowing. So they've been working all week, game planning with this all in mind. So Zach should be on point. Both coaches were so confident in not only their game plan, but Zach Rosman.
So Walton a little bit banged up. We talked about Austin Kirksey, obviously. They lost starting offensive lineman in last week's game as well. And Bear Jones, the freshman right tackle, injured. And you see him out there with a cast on his foot. So that's not looking good for him. But lots of guys are going to have to step up and be ready to play football tonight. So, and, Walton's not the only team that's banged up, by the way. Newnan was talking with some of their guys downstairs. Noonan banged up as well. Their leading receiver out with a broken thumb. Their best running back is out. And so it's going to be interesting tonight with these two teams, having to go a little deeper into their roster.
No doubt. A quick snippet on last week's game. We had a center with a torn labrum in his snap hand. Obviously, we talked quite a bit about how the snap wasn't getting to the quarterback timely. So they decided they're going to go with their 170-pound second stringer. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Normally when we're undersized at line, that's when we run in the wing tee. We're going to sit there, do trap blocks and pulls and try to get some ear holes. But it'll be interesting. Like I said, our coaching staff is very, very impressed with what we have going into this game, and they feel very confident in the game plan.
Well, it's definitely going to be an interesting game. I was wondering, walking to the stadium tonight after parking the car, I was talking to my son, William. I wonder if Austin's going to play. He came back in and finished the game last week, but I had no idea about the, I believe it's a high ankle sprain that he's suffering from, and I had no idea that he was not going to play until I got up here into the press box and heard the news. But I was already had wondered that as I was walking into the stadium, just because, it's, as we said last week, obviously it was a big game, national televised, and, a rematch of a big game from last season. But in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't count. The goal is to win the region, get into the playoffs, and, that's really when a high school football season starts, is once you get into that region schedule. So tonight's game, another non-region game for these two teams, and it'll be fun to see how these players, the next man up type mentality, see how that plays out for both of these teams.
No doubt, Tim. The bottom line is, you mentioned it a few times last week. You want to win without a doubt. It's great to have a scratchless record, and with that though, you also want to get all the way to state smartly without sustaining too much injury, and go in as healthy as you can when you get into region play, because that's what counts.
Yeah, so we see Zach Rossman out there warming up right now, getting that arm loose, and throwing to a couple of guys, Mikey Farr on one end. Katie Alford is out there standing next to Rossman, and down at the other end, Dom Blaylock catching balls. But Dom's tossing them back as well. So we'll see him in the Wildcat, I would imagine, a little bit, like we did last week, like we did some of last season. But he proved in last week's game that he can throw the football. He's it's not something that you're going to count on him to do maybe on a regular basis, but he can definitely toss that ball downfield, and came up with a huge completion on a fake punt last week that was set up a touchdown for Walton.
No doubt that when Zach Rossman went in, they came out throwing. The very first play he was in, they threw a small out to Don Blaylock, and they came out with confidence. And then he threw a comeback. You remember the comeback?
Yeah.
It was. I'm impressed with the kid, and definitely with a full week of taking all the reps, all the first string reps. He has got to be so much more prepared and ready to rock tonight than he was last week.
Yep.
So it's only going to get better.
So captains are about to meet at midfield for the coin toss. For the Raiders, looks like Trey Middleton, DJ Soyoye, Brandon Spencer, and I'm going to confess right now that I need to look up number 70.
The big guy.
The big guy, number 70, that is Rail Francis out there. And, of course, Luke Boynton, not wearing pads tonight. What's interesting about Luke is I don't see a cast on that arm. He suffered that broken arm in you would think there would still be a cast on it. Maybe he's healing real quick. But yeah, Luke suffered the broken forearm, broke both bones in his forearm in that opening game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So that's kind of interesting to see. Maybe that's a good sign with all the negative injury news that we've seen tonight and last week. Maybe that's a good sign for Luke to not even have a cast on that arm right now.
Well, Luke, besides being bionic, Luke has been staying in the cryotherapy. He's been going to the oxygen tanks and getting that high octane therapy where you heal in days, not weeks or months.
Sports medicine, very advanced here at Walton High School. You got to love it. So it looks like the Raiders are going to receive the football. So we'll see this Walton offense with the ball first again, just like we did last week.
Well, I'm excited. We get to see it right away. What's the game plan? What are we going to roll out with? Like we mentioned last week, coaches roll in normally with a script of 10 plays, and it's going to have different formations. It's going to have different motions, and it's going to see, are the adjustments that the defense is making, or are they what you expected? Is their base defense what you expect? So that you can stay with your game plan. If there is any changes, they're going to be able to really quick adapt and make a similar adjustment on their play sheets that would more accommodate what they're looking at on from those first 10 plays. So there's a lot to be told by just this.
So Noonan will kick the football off, tee it up at their own 40-yard line. Dropping back to return the kickoff for the Raiders. It'll be Mikey Farr, number 4, and number 5, Kendall Alford. Kendall goes by KD. You may hear us say Kendall. You may hear us say KD, but looks like they're going to set up at about their 8-yard line to receive this kick.
Kicker must be a guy that doesn't normally hit the goal line.
Yeah, one thing that's already different from last week to tonight is the sun is down behind those trees over there as they try the pooch kick, and it's going to be picked up by the second-level guy over there. I believe it's Jalen Wilson on the return, and he gets it up to the 34-yard line. Raiders will take over there, first down and 10.
There's 2 reasons you do a pooch like that. One is you've recognized on film study that midline retreats quick. They retreat once they see the kick being right before it's kicked, and they retreat and turn their head. The other reason is you're concerned. You're concerned about the return being effective.
Right. So here we go. Zach Rossman starting his first varsity football game as a freshman for the Raiders, has 2 men split wide to each side.
As they expect, a 3-man front, 3-4 cover 2 shell with soft corners.
Rossman fakes the handoff, looking for a man on the slants, got far, complete over the middle for a Walton first down up to the 48-yard line.
Basic package, running double slants, and he threw it right off the back of the OLB. That's the outside linebacker. That's for Mr. McLeod.
Again, Rossman this time will hand it off to Soyoye, who's going to be met at the line of scrimmage. Looks like they might mark him forward for 1 yard, but that's it, just the 1 yard, and it'll be second down, a long 9. So here we go, second down and 9, long 9, maybe 10 yards here. Same formation for the Raiders, 2 men wide to each side. Soyoye in the backfield. Rossman this time drops back, looking over the middle's got a man open. It's Alford with the catch inside the 30, inside the 25 of Noonan, down to the 24-yard line. A big pickup on 2nd and 10.
So a couple things there. He dropped back. He was comfortable in what he was seeing. They had soft defensive shell as expected with a 2 cheat. He stuttered a little bit. He just needs to, he saw it right. He just needs to throw it on first. The first time he looked at it. All right, they got to cover 1. They're pressing up, trying to change up the tempo and the play. 3-3 stack.
Rossman looking left side this time. Alford, touchdown! KD Alford with the catch, and a defender all over him, but Alford still able to score the touchdown for the Raiders. Rossman 3 for 3 on that first drive, and the Raiders make quick work of the Noonan Cougar defense.
When you have a cover one and they're pressed up and the free safety goes to the field and you're on the left hash, it sure does open up the availability of throwing something like that if you get a guy beat off the line of scrimmage, which he did. That was an awesome play.
Here comes the point after attempt by Westbrook. The kick is up, and it is good. And the Raiders very quickly out to a 7-0 lead here in the first quarter. 10:51 left to play in quarter number 1. Just an impressive drive by the Walton offense. Doesn't look like they're missing a beat with several key players out of the football game.
I don't think you could start off any better. I'm sure DJ wanted a little bit longer run than a 1-yard run. Other than that, pretty solid stuff.
That's right. That is the only negative. So Walton missing, and this is just what I know of, a starting tight end, a starting right tackle, and of course the starting quarterback. And they are unfazed as they easily march down the field and score in 4 plays. 4 plays and 66 yards.
Well, for my film study, I saw the very same thing that I saw. There's no changes in this defense. They are doing exactly what I saw. They run that cover 2 shell, and when it gets close to the red zone, all of a sudden they come up and press. I guess we'll see what kind of offense Noonan brings. A little bit more I formation, I think. And here we go.
The kick is away, and it's going to be a deep kick, and that'll be a touchback as it is caught in the end zone. So Noonan will have the football first down and 10 from their own 20-yard line, and we'll see this Noonan Cougar offense for the first time.
The ball will be spun on the 20-yard line. First and 10 for the Noonan Cougars.
So just underway, if you're just now joining us, just underway here from Raider Valley. Walton marches down the field with no trouble whatsoever to score the first touchdown of the football game. They lead at 7-0, 10:51 left to play here in the first quarter. And we get to see the Noonan offense, like I said, for the first time. There's a pass complete out to the right side in the flat. A short gain, pickup of 4 yards. And it looked like Malik Adams was in on the tackle for the Raiders.
They ran a 3-receiver set to the right, bubble screen to the right, safe call, safe play to see what they're going to see. What I can tell you is from watching last week, you're not going to get too much success on the Raiders' defense running screens. The way Mihalik comes up and meets the block, he's penetrating that block and making it real tough to be successful.
So 2nd down and 6 for the Cougars. This time he looks left. He's got a man over there, complete, and stumbling forward for a pickup of about 2 yards to the 26 is the Noonan receiver. So it's going to be 3rd down now, 3rd and about 4.
They basically just ran the same play to the left, and Mihalik again met the block, outside contained, forced the receiver to run upfield early. Pursuit took care of business.
Up under center this time, taking the snap. That ball is almost picked. It's tipped up in the air. Mikey Farr wanted to take it back the other way to the house, but couldn't come down with it. But neither can Noonan, and it'll be 4th down and 4, and they'll be forced to punt it away.
Tim, I'll tell you, when you have a 4th down and 4, hitches are all quite commonly called, right? So the DB, if he notices any chatter, any hip drop by that receiver at the yardstick, he's going to drive it. It's scary to think that there could be a double move on, but quite commonly it's the hitch, and he almost made the play.
Here's a flag as the ball is snapped, and we're going to have something against Noonan here. Let's see what the call is. A false start against the Cougars. So they'll back him up 5 yards and try it all over again. Ball is set down at the 21-yard line.
I think everybody gets nervous when they see number 1 back there. So they get a little like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocket chairs.
That is Blaylock back deep to receive. The kick is away. It's a good one.
Fair catch.
It's going to be fair caught by Dom at the 47-yard line of Walton. So Walton will have the football 1st and 10 from their own 47.
47-yard line.
9:39 now left to go here in this first quarter. So good start for the Raiders.
Let's hear it for that Walton Raider band.
Love to see it. Region play starts next week, and that's, like I said, that's when things start to get real serious.
Zach Rosman in at quarterback.
Early on, it looks like Roswell will be definitely one of the top teams to contend with in our region. They're undefeated tonight, facing undefeated Wheeler. So that's kind of a surprise. Wheeler undefeated to start the season. There's a long pass intended for Blaylock. Caught by Blaylock, and he comes down inside the Noonan 25-yard line down to the 23. Zach Rossman has started this game 4 for 4 passing.
That was almost, it was a 9 route, a go route. It was almost better that he threw it a little bit inside. The DB didn't expect it.
Already 96 yards passing for Rossman. He's looking left, and he's got a receiver. And look at that toe drag swag by Dom Blaylock as he keeps it in bounds and gets inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. So pickup of about 6 yards on the reception by Blaylock.
Tim, toe drag swag. That
I
was
can't take
awesome.
credit for it. Can't take credit for it.
Never heard it.
Got it off
That was beautiful.
NFL Network.
I'm going to start calling you Cotton. Remember from dodgeball?
I do remember.
Here we go. Got 3-by-1 set.
Trips to the right side. Rossman will keep it on the ground. Hand off to Soyoye. Once again, trying that middle of the Noonan Cougar defensive front. He is able to plow forward for about 2 yards, but that's going to be it. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down and short situation.
The one thing Newnan has, they got a lot of weight in the middle. They got a lot of big waistlines on those 3 guys that have hands down. So it causes a little bit of issue to get them moved out of the way. We kind of tiptoed through there. We need to explode through that hole. 2-by-1 flex set.
Again, they keep it on the ground. This time,
There we go.
Soyoye bounces outside left side. He's down to the 5-yard line before he's finally forced out of bounds, and it's going to be a 1st and goal for the Raiders. However, there is a flag on the field, and this could be a hold on the edge out there. Let's see what the official says. And they are going to mark it off against the Raiders, and it is a hold.
Not good, not good. We've got to make sure we keep our hands inside. You can grab them, but you just don't want anybody to see it. You gotta grab those shoulder pads on the where their chest is and use it like a steering wheel. You cannot let your arm, your hand get on the outside of the body. They're going to get you every time for that hold.
All right, so after the penalty is marked off, it's now 3rd and 12. Ball spotted back at the 25-yard line of Noonan. Rossman dropping back. They got the screen set up, and it's a little bit out of the reach of DJ Soyoye. DJ stands about 5 feet 6 inches tall, and he needed to be about 5'10" to bring that one down. So it's going to be 4th and 12, and that is Rossman's first incomplete pass of the night.
It's a great play call because you got, 4th and 12 or 3rd and 12 at the time, and you know you're going to get a soft defense, and they ran it. I bet you they ran it to number 1 side because everybody's concerned about him going deep, so it's going to be even softer on that side. Just got to be able to put it on him as you trail back. He kind of jumped up and turned his body, and the ball sailed on him.
We'll see Westbrook attempt a 42-yarder from the left hash. The kick is away, and it is going to be good. Westbrook with a 42-yard field goal, and the Raiders have a double-digit lead. It's 10-0 Walton with 8:35 left to play here in quarter number 1.
It looked like he had just enough. But there was so much spin on that ball, you actually know that he has a much stronger leg than that.
So Zach Rossman's first 2 drives as a high school starting quarterback have resulted in points. Very impressive start for this freshman quarterback.
The winner of tonight's raffle will receive 50% of the money from all tickets sold. Past winners have won.
So very different atmosphere than what we had here last week. Obviously, we had the national television audience last week, and despite that, despite the game being on Raider Vision, despite the game being on ESPN2 last week, we had a pretty packed house here last week. This week, you look across at the stands over there, and Newnan did not travel to this game quite as well as North Gwinnett.
The Cougars will take over first and 10 from the 20-yard line. Don't forget to stop by the award-winning concession stand, hot dogs, hamburgers, the world-famous bacon-wrapped wax delicious dog.
Here we go. We get to see some more Raider defense. I talked to Coach Bruder before the game about their defense, and I'm going to tell you, he's very proud of their ability, their skill level, and their coachability is probably what he's most proud of.
So, yeah, this defense has really stepped up this year for the Raiders, and they're going to need them to do that for a few more weeks until they can get some of these playmakers on offense back. So Noonan is offsides on that play, so they'll mark it off 5 yards. Ball will be spotted now at the 15-yard line. First and 15 for the Cougs.
Got that soft four-look.
Going deep this time. They've got a man open down there, and the ball is caught. And Mikey Farr trailing is going to force the receiver out of bounds. Let's see where they spot this. The official kind of looks a little confused. Now he will spot it at the 25-yard line. It almost looked like he picked that spot randomly because he didn't quite know where to go with that football.
I can only imagine that maybe he stepped out, because that's the only reason he would have spotted it there.
So big pickup for Noonan on first and 15, all the way down to the Walton 25-yard line. A 60-yard reception.
All right, they got eyes set. Got twins to the right.
There's the handoff, and met at the line of scrimmage is the ball carrier, and look at Drew Mihalik. With a little bit of help, Drew Mihalik forces him back, and it's going to be a pickup of about 1 yard. It'll be second down and 9 for Noonan.
That'll bring up a second and 9 for the Cougars.
You remember last week with that 7 o'clock start and it being, a week earlier in the calendar, the sun was just beating on us for the entire first quarter.
And also we had a half-hour later start. Last week was a 7 o'clock start.
Yep. There's another clothesline tackle. We saw one of those last week by Trey Middleton. He does it there again. Middleton in on the stop, had some help from some of his teammates, and it's a loss of a yard back to the 25. It's going to be third down and 10.
Walton's defense is just stout. They've had one play beat them so far. Everything else, they've kept them to a 3 and out. This, I tell you right now, they're disciplined. Watch Mihalik on the outside. Watch him play the number 2 here and the way he meets blocks. Calling out for people to come, get the trips. Got third. Don't do the bubbles. Okay, I was about to say.
There's some pressure, and the ball's thrown for the end zone. What a throw. What a catch. It's a Noonan touchdown as the quarterback got rid of that football under pressure. It was just a beautiful play all the way around for the Cougars. And I believe it's Michael McGinnis, the sophomore quarterback, throwing the nice pass into the end zone for the touchdown. So Noonan is on the board. 7:07 left to play in the first quarter.
They had 2 very large plays. It's not common that you have that on one single drive, both being 9 routes. One to the outside receiver, and now this one to the number 2, the slot. They obviously see something that they're not drawing anything complicated, but they saw something on film that they're going after.
The kick is up, and it is good. So Noonan cuts into that Walton lead. It's now 10-7 Raiders. 7:07 left to play first quarter. Here from Raider Valley, nobody said it was going to be easy. It seemed like it after that first Walton drive, but first 2 drives really. But Noonan able to come back with a couple of big plays, as you mentioned, the 160-yard completion, and then just now the 25-yarder for the touchdown, and they are on the board, and it's a 3-point Walton lead.
Yeah, in Georgia, you're never, ever going to get just an easy rollover game. Georgia football is stout, it's strong, it's team to team, week to week. You're going to face big guys, fast guys, guys that are Division I scholarship. You're never getting an easy week off unless it's the bye.
That's right. Bye weeks. Walton's going to have one of those coming up, by the way. So with Kirksey being out somewhere in the 4 to 6 week range, bye week being one of those 4 to 6 weeks, that certainly helps. So here's the kickoff from Noonan. Another pooch kick, trying to keep it away from the Walton return guys. There's B.J. Gibson taking the kick and being brought down right after he catches the football. They'll spot it at the 39-yard line. So Walton's third possession will start right there.
Yeah, they're comparing their cover skills to what the damage a return team can make, and they're just pooching it. I mean, to do it twice in a row, it's part of the game plan. It wasn't a surprise thing to do it the first time before. And you don't expect those things out of a Coach Bruner team either. You know, something on discipline where they turn their heads early and not see the ball kicked. All right, here we go. Looks like we may get a little pressure here. They're going to bring a little heat. Cover one.
Blaylock in motion. They're going to get it out to him on the right side. He's got blockers out there. Blaylock turns it upfield, gets across the 45, and they will spot him down just beyond the 46. So not quite enough for a first down, but a positive pickup nonetheless for the Raiders. Pickup of about 7 yards.
So just to clarify to the viewers, cover one means you're going to have one safety deep, and all the wide receivers are going to be manned up by a defensive back. That means everybody else is available to come after that quarterback.
They will keep it on the ground to Soyoye. He starts left, then goes right. Soyoye's got a first down into Noonan territory, and they will spot him inside the 40-yard line to the 39.
That was closer to a cover three look, but a super aggressive one. And if you can, during an aggressive defense, if you can break through that first level, you're into some pay dirt, which we just had a good gain there. One of the things Coach Hirschfeld said, he said, we want to run that ball. Love to have 250 yards rushing tonight. Call it.
And they got Noonan drawn off sides. Let's see if one of our guys moved. Nope, they're going to mark it off against the Cougars. So that'll give the Raiders 5 yards. It'll be first down and 5 after they mark this one off.
From the 34-yard line.
First down and 5 for the Raiders. They will hand it off to Soyoye. Tries to spin off one tackler in the backfield and is able to get back to the line of scrimmage, but that's about it. It'll be second down and 5.
So quite often what we like to do in the QBIQ world is whenever you're in an advantage down, something like a 1st and 5, it's time to go deep. If you're in a 2nd and short, it's time to go deep. Anytime that you're normal down and distance, you got to be respectable or behind the stats.
They will give it to Soyoye again, trying to find running room against that Noonan Cougar defensive front, and he's only able once again to get back to the line of scrimmage. Now we're in a 3rd down and 5 situation.
They're big up front. We need to be able to pop outside. I like our chance. Now, don't get me wrong. We have to keep them respecting the inside run, so there needs to be a dose of that. But at the same time, pay dirt's on the outside.
Passing situation for the Raiders. That is Alford in motion left to right, and they get him drawn off sides. Once again, we'll see if our guys moved or not. Let's see what the call is here. They're going to, looks like, step it off against the Cougars.
You're seeing an intellectual bout between Coach Hirschfeld, the offensive coordinator of the Walton Raiders, against the defensive coordinator of the Noonan Cougars. Why not take it the easy way?
Yep. So the step off is enough for a Walton first down. Ball now spotted inside the Noonan 30 at the 29-yard line. We're down under 5 minutes left to play here in quarter number 1.
Looks like a bounce. No, they're bringing 5.
Rossman looking left, got Blaylock there. It's complete. Blaylock spins off one guy, spins off another. Blaylock is free into the open field. Blaylock inside the 10-5, touchdown. Dom Blaylock dives for the pylon, and it's a Walton touchdown. Raiders are back up 16-7 now. There is a flag, however, all the way back at the 13-yard line, and let's see what this call is. Got wrapped up in watching Dom spin off tacklers and did not see the flag until just now. So let's see if this one's going to come back. Judging by the body language of the Walton offensive players, it looks like it is going to come back. I could be wrong, though. Let's see. Nope. It is going to be against Noonan, and it's declined. Was that a roughing the passer penalty?
Against the Cougars.
So I think it might have been a roughing the passer penalty, but it is declined, and it's a Walton touchdown.
We already know Zach's going to be able to take some hits. He did it last week. He's able to get through it, make some plays. He doesn't mind taking hits. He got a roughing the passer last week. I think he gets him jazzed up to play harder.
Yeah, he got all those pads on. And that is a 25-yard catch and run for a touchdown by Dom Blaylock. Zach Rossman, by the way, this is very unofficial, these stats that I'm keeping here, but 7 of 8 passing for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. We still have 4 minutes, 36 seconds left to play in the first quarter. That doesn't sound like freshman numbers.
Those are some decent stats for anyone.
That's right.
That's awesome.
So the kick by Westbrook is good, and the Raiders once again have built a 10-point lead on top of Noonan. It is 17-7.
Tell you what, that gives some confidence to the Walton Raiders for the future as well, not just tonight, but the rest of the season and the next 3 years.
That's right. All right, so we had some technical difficulties early on in our broadcast. We are up and airing live now for those watching on Raider Vision, so I can kind of give you a quick recap. Thanks to Bob McLeod for keeping us updated on our technical difficulties. But if you're just joining us, Zach Rossman, the freshman quarterback, filling in for the injured Austin Kirksey, is 7 of 8 passing, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, one of those going to Blaylock, and the other one to K.D. Alford. And it has just been really an impressive showing so far for Zach Rossman and the Walton offense. There's the kick deep through the end zone, and it's going to be a touchback, and Noonan once again will start at their own 20-yard line.
Kickers love it. They love when they get the chance to kick from the 50, because what they're trying to do is kick it through the field goal post.
I saw him put the hands up saying it's good.
Little Run DMC. Gotta love some Run DMC. Here we go.
It's tricky. All right. Noonan lines up in more of a running type formation there, and they do keep the ball on the ground. It's a pickup of 2.5 yards there, maybe 3 on first down.
Walton is physical. They put a lot of people in the box right there. They ran cover 3 on the outside, and they just let everybody else go to town on this I formation. These guys run the old-time football of the 90s, and it's that downhill in between the tackles, fullback, tailback alignment called the I formation. Little Dallas Cowboy flex.
This time they fake the handoff, roll out right side. Quarterback is looking downfield. It's got a man complete at the 30. He's going to be real close to a first down, but it looks like they'll spot it just short, and it should bring up a 3rd down and 1.
Got a flag here. It might be something on the quarterback.
On the stop for the Raiders. There's the flag on the play.
Middle linebacker, I think, got a little aggressive.
It is a roughing the passer penalty against the Raiders. So we saw the Raiders coming up with some real big hits last week and looking to continue that aggressive style. And when you play an aggressive defensive style like that, that's one of the byproducts of it, unfortunately, is you're going to pick up some of those roughing penalties.
You know, when you get a quarterback running outside the pocket, you've been chasing him the whole play, and you think you have him, and you even see the ball be thrown. And there's just somewhat this, you continue your operation through the man's body. You got to have some discipline and stop that. But look at that right there.
What a hit that time by Malik Adams, and that's the guy who the penalty was on, Malik Adams, but it doesn't slow him down as far as that aggressive style as he comes through with another big hit there. No gain. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
I believe he just said, "You just made me madder."
That's right. I'm going to keep doing it.
Check out Aubrey Carter's the ball carrier for the Cougars.
So 2nd down and 10 for the Raiders. 3 minutes, 10 seconds left to play in the first quarter. They go on the ground again, right up the middle, and they get across the 45. He's pushed back, but they'll mark his forward progress at the 47-yard line. So that'll be a 3rd down and 7 coming up for Noonan.
Tell you what, we had some penetration quick there. Running back was able to make a small cut and readjustment to the inside hole. He went from that'd be the 5 hole to the 3 hole.
Check that 3rd and 8 for the Cougars.
All right, 3rd down and a long 7, maybe 8 yards here for Noonan. This time they look right side, passes complete out here in the flat, looking for some blocking. He gets across midfield, but is going to be driven back by a host of Raider tacklers. Weston Gurr is there. Also in on the stop is number 22 for the Raiders. And again, can't believe I have to do this, but I got to look up 22.
How many times are we going to say Weston Gurr's name?
Oh, my God.
Mihalik. It's amazing. These guys, they're tenacious. They run to the ball. I love watching these guys play. They're disciplined. Oh, look at that.
So we got a penalty against Noonan, and I will mark this one off, and I don't know if we'll replay 3rd down or what. Yeah, it looks like we will replay 3rd down. So it would have been 4th down for Noonan, 4th and maybe 3 or so. Might have been 4th and 2. But now it's going to be 3rd and 12 after the penalty is marked off.
Let's just hope they don't run one of those 9 routes that keep sneaking behind our defense.
22 is Jeb Carrere, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing his last name, but Jeb Carrere was in on that last stop along with Weston Gurr. Yeah, Weston Gurr was a force last week for the Raiders. And we got another flag before the ball is snapped. This is going to be a procedure penalty against Noonan. That'll back him up 5 more yards. Now it's going to be 3rd down and 17. You're going the wrong way, guys.
Well, the ref agrees. You can't do what they just did, so why not? Tack on another 5 to the Walton Raiders side of the sticks.
Down under 2 minutes now left to play in the first quarter. Raiders with a 10-point lead at the moment. Noonan with a 3rd and 17 from their own 37-yard line. This time they drop straight back, looking downfield. The pass is caught one-handed. What a catch! What a catch. Well short of the first down. It's going to be 4th and long. My goodness, what a catch.
I hate to talk about things we don't have, but, man, how cool would it see that again?
Kyle McDonald on the reception.
They basically just ran something basic like a chair route, a go on the outside to clear out the corner and a 10-yard out by the inside guy. And it was a decent throw to make sure it wasn't in trouble. It was either going to be out of bounds or it was going to be caught by their guy.
Another beautiful punt this time. Blaylock is going to call for the fair catch and make it at his 14-yard line. And the Raiders will take over 1st and 10. This will be their worst field position of the night so far, starting at their own 14. They've scored on every drive, and there's 1:29 left to play here in this first quarter. See if they can get one in before we go to quarter number 2.
There's been so much action. It's still first quarter.
Yep. 1:29 left to go. Rossman back in there. And he will fake the handoff. He's rolling out right side.
Drag.
Has Alford. It's complete. He dropped it. It was complete for a moment. Alford dropped it. Noonan's picking it up like it was a fumble. And the refs haven't blown the whistle yet. I think that's going to count as a fumble, and the guy won't go down. And I believe that's same guy, Kyle McDonald, rather.
So we ran a little mesh boot, and that just means you fake the handoff inside and you boot right, and you got your usual chip flat. So the guy's running a flat pass. It was covered by the outside linebacker. So you just go to your drag man coming from the opposite side of the field, and he was open. That was Kendall. That was KD, we like to call him. And great pass by Zach. But unfortunately, after a couple steps, got stripped of the ball, and a pretty good run back by the Noonan Cougars there.
So I thought it was number 5, the guy who made the one-handed catch on offense for Noonan, but it was not. It's Tyreek Hussey who picked up the loose ball, and the Raiders are lucky they didn't get called for a horse collar tackle, because that was a tackle he was actually able to break on that fumble return. They didn't get flagged for it, but Noonan has the football inside the Raider 15-yard line. There is a handoff straight up the gut, and they'll get it forward a couple yards down to the 11. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7 for the Cougars.
So another name that we mentioned quite a lot on the broadcast is Bob McLeod. Bob just texted me, are we in a 42 or a 44? And it depends on relevancy to what we're shelling, meaning the defensive backs. But we're in a 42, and we're running a cover 4, and we have a robber that plays to the strength or the multi-receiver side.
That handoff goes up the middle inside the 10-yard line of the Raiders. It's going to be 3rd and we'll call it 4 for Noonan. So the Raider defense trying to keep them out of the end zone here.
Getting some strength signals called here, getting it figured out.
Noonan looks like they're trying to change the play. Well, they'll let the quarter wind down. That'll do it for the first quarter of play. It is Walton 17, Noonan 7 at the end of 1. We'll flip the field and have the second quarter coming up for you here in just a minute. But all in all, Chris, fantastic first quarter of play for the Walton Raiders, led by this freshman quarterback, Zach Rossman. But the tough break there as Alford held on to the football just long enough for it to be a fumble and not an incomplete pass. And Noonan is in great field position right now, but a 3rd down coming up for them.
Guys, you know what just makes it so frustrating? It gives you a greater respect for the play called the punt, is when you have a turnover, it takes basically 40 yards out of your pocket. You cannot have turnovers. Turnovers kill you. And I hope we get that answered and make sure KD puts that ball away. He has a tendency to drop the ball down when he runs a little bit.
I mean, one of the things about announcing these games is you come across names, you're not sure how to pronounce them, and people are watching all over the country. Some of the players have family members in other states watching the football game, so I'm very happy to get these corrections. Just got a correction here. It's Zach Roseman. Like the flower, Roseman, not Rossman. So thank you for that. That's Bob McLeod informing us of that. His cousin out in California texted in. Or
What's the confirmed pronunciation again?
Roseman.
Roseman. Before the game, I was clarified on that as Rossman, but the clarification was wrong.
There is a little flip forward to a guy coming in motion, and they get it into the end zone for a touchdown. They had a man in motion coming right to left. The quarterback took the snap and just flipped it forward to him. It goes as a completed forward pass for a touchdown for the Cougars. And the Cougars are in the end zone once again. And it is 17-13 right now with the extra point pending. That was the first play of the second quarter, and it's a Noonan touchdown.
That was a misdirection. This is the only time I've not seen Mahalik control the edge. When the motion went away from him, I think he got a little lulled to sleep on his edge control. And as the unsuspecting jet sweep coming his side, he missed it. So he wasn't able to control his guy and turn him up. You'll see that was a key block for them to make that play successful.
Extra point is good by Rad Wyrick, and it's 17-14 now. Raiders with a 3-point lead. And those mistakes, fumbling the football deep in your own territory, almost always end up costing you, and they did just that for the Walton Raiders just now. So Walton will get the football back here. 11:54 left to play in the first half, leading by 3. Got lots of big matchups going on around the state tonight, and we will certainly try to keep you updated on some of the bigger ones as we go along here. We'll have little lulls in the action from time to time while we wait for this ball to be kicked off. Brookwood is leading Berkmar 35-0, so the Broncos in charge in that one. Parkview leading Milton 17-6. Grayson has a 7-0 lead on Colquitt. Actually, now that we're pronouncing names correctly, I should say Colquitt. Flag on the kickoff. Oh my gosh. It was actually somebody watching from Kosovo who pointed out the correct pronunciation of Roseman.
What's that, in South Georgia?
Sure. Why not? So penalty against Noonan. They'll tee it up this time from the 35-yard line. And so we should have a good chance at a return here, but they have been kicking those pooch kicks. Now, if they do another pooch, Walton's going to have fantastic field position. And they'll kick it a little deeper this time. Looks like it's going to be far over there, catching it at his 10-yard line. Now running back across the field to the right. He's got a block, breaks a tackle at the 25, cuts back to the left. He's across the 35 and is going to be brought down at the 36-yard line. So a decent return there by Farr. And the Raiders have the football 1st and 10 from their own 36.
You love to see a lot of guys get blocks on this. Special teams are quite often overlooked. A lot of guys got hats on hats. KD was waving them on. He said, come this way. They obviously had a return right on, and KD got his nose up there, blocked some guys. I'd love seeing guys doing things to make things happen on special teams. It's a part of the game that's often not concentrated on enough. Here we go.
Other first quarter scores. One of your students right now leading a 15-0 lead on Campbell is Ross Malmgren for North Paulding. North Paulding has
the Big Smooth, we like to call him.
Big Smooth. There is a handoff to Soyoye.
Get outside, baby. Like I said, get outside.
Soyoye crosses midfield, still on his feet. Finally dragged down inside the Noonan 45. A big pickup on first down for DJ Soyoye. And it is 1st and 10 Walton from the Noonan 43.
All right, I'm going to just put this out there, but I'm going to call him Thor's hammer. I like the way he runs.
Very physical running style for Soyoye. He's only about 5'6", but he's up around 190, 200 pounds. Very solid, stout, strong in the lower body. There's another broken tackle momentarily, but he's wrapped up and dropped for a loss of about 2 yards, it looks like. It's going to be 2nd down and 10.
A lot of times if we think something worked to the right, we call it right away to the left. A lot of times that works. 2nd and 11. I wonder what we're going to do here. This is obviously a passing down. I would like to see something short, like a screen, tunnel screen. Looks like we might be doing a chip flat or something. No, up
Fake
in front.
Handoff,
there
pass
it is.
Complete. That's Tanner Daniels. Tanner Daniels makes a move, gets inside the 20, inside the 15, and is dropped down at the 12. A big pickup by Tanner Daniels.
All right, I'm going to use the word again, smell. Coach Hirschfeld smelled the right timing to call that play. Have you noticed we sneak that play in about once or twice a game? And it's always at the right time.
Pickup of 34 yards. And Rossman's numbers, when I give them to you, are going to blow your mind.
All right, let me get some Band-Aids on my ears.
There is the handoff to Soyoye. So not as much success in the running game, although they've broken off a couple of big runs. But for the most part, Noonan doing a good job of bottling up that Walton running game. The passing attack, however, again, this is unofficial. Zach Rossman, 9 of 10 passing for 100, and I just said Rossman. Zach Roseman, 9 of 10 passing, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns for the freshman in his first start.
That's exciting. That is awesome. It's got to be a confidence builder for him, but at the same time, he's got to stay in zone. He's got to keep his mind right and focused.
Roseman fakes the handoff, and the ball is batted. And they whistled it dead, but you're right. You can't assume that. You got to get on that football. So that's only his second miss, if I've got these numbers correctly.
And that's not technically his fault there. Our linemen have got to step in and get hands on the front line. You cannot let a defensive line or the outside edge get their hands up free. You've got to get hands into them, get physical, so that they can't jump or put their paw out.
3rd and 15, Roseman looking right. And this one is going to be picked off. That ball stayed up in the air way too long, and it's picked off. And Noonan with another turnover has the ball 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line.
Unfortunately, we got hit right on the release. It slowed down the power of the ball, so the ball fell about 10 to 15 yards short of where it should have been. And unfortunately, the Noonan Cougars are on the benefit side of that throw.
So after scoring on their first 3 drives of the football game, Walton has turned it over twice in a row. The first time was deep in their own territory. This time, it's fairly deep in Noonan's territory, so this one doesn't hurt quite as bad. .41 left to play here in the half. Walton right now clinging to a 3-point lead at 17-14, but Noonan with the football. And they've shown the ability to move the football down the field.
All right, we got strong left. We got everybody in the box, 4-4 set.
They're
going 9 route.
Deep, and they've got a man open. He's got some space on B.J. Gibson. Gibson is able to make the stop. Are they saying incomplete? No, it's a complete pass.
It's complete. After they saw last week's game and us allowing a couple guys a couple times to get beyond us, they're just running 9 routes. It's their offensive call. We'll go I formation, power, 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 counter, 9 route.
And that is Elijah Williams on the reception for Noonan. Gibson able to bring him down immediately after the catch.
Feather.
There
you go.
A run that goes nowhere. Malik Adams in on the stop, and Jeb Carrere. Again, I hope someone texts in and tells me if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Carrere.
Now that you've asked, I'm sure we'll get one.
All right, 2nd down and 10 for the Cougars.
Got to slow these guys down. We've had a couple bad situations happen in a row here.
Now we're down under 9 minutes left to play in the first half. Noonan with a chance to take the lead with a touchdown or tie it up if they have to settle for a field goal. 2nd and 10, and they're going to throw it left, and it's incomplete that time out here in the left flat.
So they had the outside receiver. What he did is ran a right now slant. He ran right inside to bring the corner with him. They probably were expecting a little bit of man there, and then they swing out the back to the boundary and hope that the edge of the defense squeezes and the back has space to catch that ball and catch some yards. Unfortunately, an errant throw for them.
So 3rd down and 11 now for Noonan. 2 men wide to the right side. 1 man wide out here to the near side. is going to have to take a timeout here. This is a big play for them. This is one of those plays that could really change the course of this football game. 8:42 left here in this first half, and Noonan only trails by 3 in a game that early on, Chris, looked like there's a chance Walton could want to run away with this thing. The way they drove up and down the field the first couple of possessions.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the scoreboard was going to break, and I was going to find a cot, but unfortunately I can't. I'm going to have to sit here and bear through this one. Now here's, on that last play, you saw they had three wide receivers out, but they still had their I formation, and we were in a 4-4 set, and I was a little concerned that we were going to go straight up man there, but then all of a sudden you saw the adjustment by Weston Gurr to go out and cover the slot man with a safety help over the top, and we were going to man on the backside to that single receiver, which is a little bit more. In a 3rd down and 11, you don't necessarily want to bring all the heat and allow maybe that 9 route happen again, and it's just a one-on-one thing. So here we go. After the timeout, let's see what they do. They're still in the same alignment Noonan is, and our adjustment is actually to go to a 4-2 set, and we're in a cover 4 shell with a robber on number 2 on the front side.
They look right and complete it to a guy coming back across the left. There's another big hit by Malik Adams, but he didn't wrap up, and the ball carrier just bounces off of him and ends up getting close to a first down. They don't quite have the yardage for the first down, but they're real close and in position to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, there's one thing to be said about big hits, but we got to wrap up. We have to wrap up. It's a fundamental of defense. Don't get me wrong. I love to see helmets blown up and shoulders popped off bodies. The physicality part of the game is awesome, but you have to wrap up. You have to be fundamentally sound on defense.
Noonan playing it conservative here. They'll line up for the kick attempt. It's Rad Wyrick on to attempt this field goal. And it will be a 37-yard attempt. 38-yard field goal attempt, rather. Going to get their 11th man on the field.
That took some time. He had a wide waist.
There's the snap, the hold, the kick
blocked.
Is blocked. And it's a live ball. It's going to be fallen on by B.J. Gibson.
He should not have done that. It's only live if the defense touches it. We just lost about 15 or 12 yards in that exchange. Or no, I guess it lost about 2 yards, I think.
Walton will have the football 1st and 10 at their own 15-yard line. So a big play there on special teams for the Raiders. And they prevent Noonan from tying the football game up.
That's excellent stuff. I mean, as statistical as you think this game is, it is still, it rides on emotions. Emotions are what carries momentum of the game. And we hope that we got some momentum rolling here.
Rossman will hand it off. Soye is going to be dragged down. He tried to spin away from the tackler, but could not get away from the grasp, and is going to be dropped for a loss of, looks like 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 13.
It's so important to have first down be successful because then you put a lot less pressure on your true freshman quarterback. But now we're in a 2nd and 13. You put you behind the statistics of normal down and distance, and now we got to do something special. They hit the ball, the screen.
Got Soyoye open for a swing pass out to the right side, and he tried to hurdle the defender, but the defender standing straight up and down made it a little difficult.
Either you have to jump super high, but I can tell you this. He tried to do it last week, and I thought it was ESPN being here that motivated him. It apparently was not. He's willing to do it at any chance.
So they get positive yardage out across the 15. It's going to be 3rd down and 8 now for the Raiders from the 17-yard line. We're down under 7 minutes left to play in the first half. They fake the handoff. Rossman looking
the ball out
left and is going to be dragged down for a sack. I keep going back to Rossman. It's Roseman, of course. And now it is 4th and long for the Raiders, and we're going to see Charlie Pollock for the first time tonight, the Walton punter, the big strong leg.
Guys, that's frustrating. We got some edge. We got some pressure from the outside. 3 or 5 technique from the right side of our offensive line. One of our goals as the Raiders we were talking with the coaching staff is to make sure we keep our quarterback clean. Now, granted, we gathered a couple times. That ball should have come out probably on the first, at least the second gather.
Pollock
Good
punts
kick.
it away. He's got a strong leg, and this one is going to be fair caught. Wasn't the most clear fair catch signal. He didn't really get his hand up over his head, but he calls for the fair catch, and it's all the way back at the 43 of Noonan. So the Cougars will have good field position here. 5:59 left to play in the first half, and once again, Noonan with an opportunity to maybe take the lead if they can get a touchdown and perhaps tie it up if they have to settle for a field goal.
They got plenty of time to do something with this. They don't need to be irregular about their play calling. And they obviously have 2 timeouts. It's not even necessary to use unless they get an alignment or personnel issue.
So here we go. Cougars football. This is, other than when they got the ball on a turnover deep in Walton's territory, this is perhaps their best field position of the night.
We're in a 52.
They will hand it off and try to go outside, right side. And they are able to pick up about 4 yards on first down. It's going to be 2nd down and 6.
Quite often, to be successful in the run game, it's how you get to the second level, the linebackers, and you get onto those blocks. They were able to get to Malik and be able to get into his chest. He had a little bit higher pad level. And if he was lower and was able to shed, he would have been able to make that play a lot earlier.
So 2nd and 6. 5:26 left to play in the first half. Noonan looking over to their sideline to get the signal. That is Michael McGinnis at quarterback for the Cougars. And they've got 3 men split wide to the right side. Empty backfield. They tried to flip it forward again. This one's going to be incomplete as he was under heavy pressure from Trey Middleton that time. Had to get rid of the football quickly, and it results in an incomplete pass. It's going to be 3rd down and 6.
Well, the quarterback definitely thought there was a shovel pass on, and he technically caught his own pass. That was illegal what just happened. That would have been a pass forward and then a pass forward. It's all in intent, guys. It's all intent.
All right, big 3rd down here for the Walton defense. 5 minutes, 5 seconds left to play in the first half. McGinnis will hand it off. They keep it on the ground, and they get to midfield. The ball's out. The ball is loose, and Walton thinks they have it, and the indication is they do. It is Walton football right near midfield. It'll be spotted at the Raider 48-yard line. So the Raiders give the ball away twice, and now they get one back here on a turnover by Noonan.
Well, it's quite often the win is decided upon the turnover ratio. If you take the ball away from them more than you give the ball away, you normally win.
Yeah.
We need to catch up.
Yeah, we do.
I think that's 2-1.
Yep, 2-1 now. Turnover ratio, a huge factor in determining wins and losses. Despite being down 2-1 in that category, Raiders are up 17-14 on the scoreboard. Roseman looking downfield, has a man over the middle. It's complete. That is Alford. Alford is wrapped up and dropped down at the 30-yard line, but a pickup of 22 yards. So the pass game once again clicking for the Raiders.
So basically what we did there, we ran verts on the left side, right? We had 9 route and a inside bender route, of which we just hit KD there. And then on the right side, we had a go route and also a break-off route for a check down. Beautiful throw. The middle was wide open. Great job by Zach Roseman. And when you have that, all of a sudden you got a run that opens up.
Soyoye with a big pickup gets down close to the 20-yard line. They will spot him. It's going to be real close to a first down. See if they move the chains. It looks like they're going to move the chains. Yep. Picks up just enough for a first down. Nice pickup by DJ.
I would love to see a screenplay here because now they don't know what to expect. I'd like to see a little screen, maybe even a screen and go.
They give it to Soyoye again. Big hole this time as he cuts it back left side, and that's going to be a Walton touchdown. DJ Soyoye goes in from 20 yards out, And the Raiders, once again, with an opportunity, extra point pending to build a double-digit lead here.
So defense is played like this. If you get beat by a play, especially on a momentum breaker like we just had on the turnover, get beat by a play, like a deep route like we did, then all of a sudden you run it because they're now going to be loose. Now all of a sudden they want to make a play so they get tight. So you want something disruptive underneath. And we popped them through the hole because they didn't have any second level.
Westbrook's kick is up, and it is right through the uprights. It's good, and the Raiders now lead it 24-14 with 4:22 left to play here in the first half. So, again, Roseman's numbers, unofficial.
I can't wait.
He's already over 200 yards passing here in this first half. 10 of 13 for 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the one unfortunate interception. Nice debut as a starting quarterback for Zach Roseman. I'm just going to keep saying his name over and over to get it ingrained in my head how to pronounce it correctly.
Roseman. Roseman is playing awesome.
Yes, he is. He's going to have to keep playing awesome, too, because Austin Kirksey will be out for, they say, 4 to 6 weeks. We'll see how that goes. You know, Austin, like you said, he's got that warrior mentality. He's going to want to try to beat that timetable.
I'll show you the text message right now. His plan is to beat that timetable.
The kick by Westbrook is a long one, and it's a touchback. Let's see what he says.
I'm showing Tim the text message as we speak from Austin, the Warrior Kirksey.
All right. Don't see anything in here about trying to beat that timetable.
It should be. I thought he gave me a time.
I don't want to go through all your texts. He's going to miss this week, the bye week, and the Lassiter game. So he thinks he's only going to miss 3 games. Or 2 games then.
I knew the timetable was in there.
2 games.
And I trusted the information that was in my text message to allow you to scroll through it.
You know what? I believe in Austin.
He's a solid individual, let me tell you. Any school would love to have him. He's All-American.
Fake handoff, rolling out right side, looking downfield. He's open, and it's overthrown just off the fingertips of the intended receiver.
I felt pretty comfortable when I saw that guy running the corner route. He wasn't the most athletic guy running it. So, quite often, those guys can't make an out-of-body catch. The radius of catch is not that big.
So 2nd down and 10 for the Cougars. 4:15 left to play here in half number 1.
How's that open up?
Well, we can't get this picture to blow up, but I know I see the body rolled up against that ankle. There's the handoff, right side, and the running back is going to have a first down out across the 30-yard line. That is Hussey on the carry for Noonan, and he's got first down yardage out to the 33-yard line. Oh, yeah, that does not look good. There's the zoomed-in shot of the injury to Austin Kirksey. We're looking at a cell phone picture, by the way. You folks can't see this that are watching on Raider Vision, but it does not look pretty at all.
Body contorted one way and the leg going the opposite underneath the leverage of somebody's body.
Noonan starting to find some holes in the middle of that Walton defensive front. A pickup this time of about 6, maybe 7 yards. It's going to be 2nd down and short for the Cougars. They'll spot it right at the 40-yard line. The line to make for the first is the 43.
You know, Walton Raiders defense, this isn't quite the time to be super loose. You need to play competitive defense, expect anything underneath. This is not 2-minute offense time.
Keep it on the ground again, and there's a big hit by Mihalik. He's got some help from Gibson, and the ball carrier's driven out of bounds back at around the 30. Let's see where they'll spot this. They're giving him forward progress. That is crazy.
No.
I don't understand this spot at all.
That's 5 yards too far.
That's one of the worst spots I've ever seen in my life. Ball spotted at the 41-yard line. It's 3rd down and short now.
They picked these refs up on the street.
I'm surprised we're not seeing a bigger argument from the Walton coaching staff on the sideline.
That's one of the worst spots I've seen in football my whole life.
There is a handoff, and
First down.
stumbling forward for first down yardage is the Noonan ball carrier across the 45 to the 46. Clock ticking down. They'll stop it momentarily to move the chains and then wind it back up again.
You know how they have the before and after? Like guys losing weight, they're huge and all they lose weight. Well, some eye company for glasses needs to come and say, look at these kind of calls these refs make. And then give them glasses and look how awesome they get.
Down under 3 minutes left to play here in the
Come
first
on,
half.
come up, press.
There's a pass complete, left sideline, knocked out of bounds by B.J. Gibson. And number 18 on the reception for Noonan, Reed Brass, I believe is the name. So Noonan driving, and they will have the football to start the second half as well. Trying to cut into this Walton lead once again. There's a handoff and a big stop coming up. Drew Mihalik is able to come up with a big stop all the way back at the 45-yard line of Noonan. And it's 3rd and 11 now, a loss of about 5 yards on the play.
Do I have to say it again? Mihalik's outside edge play is unreal. Somebody needs to give that guy a national award. It's probably the best I've seen in the country.
He was back in pass coverage just for a moment. Once he realized it was a run, his closing speed was off the charts to come up and make that stop. They are looking downfield, but it's going to be a sack by Trey Middleton as the play was a little too slow to develop, and that gave Middleton time to get around his blocker.
Great pressure. Those are the types of plays that we need in this scenario. It eliminates their ability to do anything with this drive, and we get it back with some time. We got 3 timeouts, 1:49 left.
So it's going to be 4th and about 13 for Noonan after this timeout. And you would think it's a punting situation for the Cougars. We saw a couple of fake punts last week. Result in first downs, and who knows what we'll see.
Halftime rush happens. For your convenience, we do have 3 locations for soft drinks, frozen lemonade, Dippin' Dots, burgers, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, fresh hot pizza for Pete's Lovin' Pizza.
.149 left to play. Blaylock will drop back to receive this punt.
Are they going to angle this punt? Are they going to just kick it up a pooch? Get the fair catch?
Rad Wyrick, the punter for Noonan, handles the kicking and punting duties for the Cougars. It's a high snap, handles it well, though, and it's almost blocked by Spencer. And no return this time by Blaylock as he's going to let it hit and roll, and it takes a Noonan bounce and roll all the way to the Walton 10-yard line. The Raiders have 1:37 left to go in this half to go 90 yards if they want to score another touchdown before halftime.
Well, that changes things. You know, as a returnman, you've got to be offensively smart and you've got to be situationally smart. I wonder if he could have had an opportunity to get underneath that. Now, you got to trust that Dom, he's played a lot of football. He's got great football instincts that he probably felt uncomfortable about catching that, and so he didn't go out there and try to make that attempt there.
All right, here we go. Roseman is back in there with Soyoye to his right. He's going to take the snap, and he's looking right side, going for Blaylock. Dom turns into a defensive back on the play and keeps that ball from being intercepted as he was well covered that time by the Noonan defensive back.
That was a cover 4. You know, it's basically a shell of cover 4 read, 2 read. Depends on, you know, your dialect. But Dom had the time. Ball went into the air. I looked at Dom. Dom looked at the DB to judge where he was at, to where he was going to play this ball. That was amazing. I've never seen a receiver do that.
1:32 now left to go. Clock stopped on that incomplete pass. This time Roseman
Middle.
looks over the middle, and a well-timed hit by the Noonan defensive back, but they call a flag. I'm wondering if the flag was on the hit or if it was over here closer to us called on the guy that was covering Katie Alford, because the hit to me looked very well timed by the Noonan defender.
So this would be defensive holding. Is that correct?
Let's see what the signal is. They're going to wave off the flag. Yeah, that was a very well timed hit by the Noonan defender. 1:27 now left to play, and it's going to be 3rd down and 10. See, Chris, you're a quarterback. I'm a former DB, and I like to see those well-timed hits by the defenders, regardless of which team they're on. See if Roseman can bounce back here with a big 3rd down pickup for the Raiders.
Well, Tim, don't get me wrong. I love football. I love everything about it. So if I can see somebody get jarred, I kind of like that.
There's a complete pass to Blaylock. Blaylock's going to try to work his way towards 1st down yardage. He breaks a few tackles, stretches out across the 20.
Count it.
Let's see where they spot this one. They're going to spot it
That's a
right
horrible
at the
spot.
20. It's going to be a 1st down. What an individual effort by Dom Blaylock to pick up that 1st down.
I thought he got another yard on that. I thought he got to the 21. But why didn't they run that in the first down?
That's a good point.
I tell you what a guy to have on your team. Unbelievable.
There is the fake handoff. Roseman goes over the middle. Alford with the reception. He hangs on to the football this time and gets out to the 33-yard line, a pickup of 13.
Great job. It's that little mesh stretch, stretch play. Get a little bit of linebacker commitment, and then you run a shallow right behind the linebackers, and you're able to pop the void that they just left.
Clock ticking now down, under a minute left to play. Roseman again on the play action, goes to Blaylock on the right side, bounces off a tackler, spins away. Blaylock across midfield to the 45. He's inside Cougar territory at the 43-yard line.
The clock ran an extra 3 seconds, by the way. The clock ran an extra 3 seconds from 49 to 46.
So
I'll tell you what, remember we talked about the fundamentals of tackling? You might want to hit somebody, sure, but most importantly, make the tackle. But the benefactors are the Walton Raiders, beneficiaries.
a 26-yard pickup, 46 seconds remaining. Roseman looking right side. There's
Great
another catch to the 33-yard line, and that is real close to a 1st down. Looks like it's going to be enough. An 11-yard pickup for Alford.
That is a great catch by KD to go down there. To do that on the move, to reach down like that is so awkward. As an athlete, it becomes a little easier. Still, it's not an easy thing to do.
This time they keep it on the ground, so Yoye gets through the line and breaks one tackle, gets down to about the 27-yard line. Walton does take a timeout, 28.3 seconds left to go.
They have one timeout left, and you usually want to save that potentially if you have to run the kicker on for a quick kick.
So Walton down to one timeout remaining. And I'm sure they will save that for that particular opportunity. However, plenty of time to air it out here and try to get 6 on the board, 7 with an extra point before they make that decision to settle for a field goal.
Right. And like you said, it's a mountain of time. If utilized correctly, this is a mountain of time. You not only have that timeout, but you got the sidelines you can work. You got the under routes. And once you get a 1st down, the clock stops for approximately 10 seconds till they get the sticks set again. So there's so many different ways to stop the clock. As a quarterback, you got to know that when you have to use that timeout or when you have the advantages of the clock stoppage.
You want some very, very unofficial stats?
I'm so ready.
Both Blaylock and Alford, 6 catches for over 100 yards receiving here in this first half, and Roseman, 14 of 19 for 262. And he's looking for more here as he looks right side. He's got Alford battling with the defender, and it was just good coverage that time. There was some contact, little hand fighting going back and forth, but not enough really for a flag. It's going to be 2nd down and, or what is it, 3rd down, I guess. Yeah, 3rd and 4 now.
Tim, I think your DB just came out of you there. I thought I should be coming down on the field saying there was a flag. But You're right, though. A little bit of both sides giving it to each other there.
Going both ways a little bit. 3rd and 4, 23 seconds remaining. Roseman
Comeback.
has a receiver. It's Blaylock, complete. He gets out of bounds, picks up the first down inside the 20, down to the 17.
When do you know if you're the best comeback team in the country, which Walton throws the comeback like no other team, if you're the best comeback team in the country, and that's the route comeback, by the way, and at this point in time, you're going to have soft coverage.
19 seconds remaining. Roseman fakes the
Inside,
handoff.
there it is.
Got a man open. It was thrown behind him, but he caught it anyway. Mikey Farr with the touchdown for the Raiders from 18 yards out, and Walton is on the board again.
That receiver inside got an advantage on his slot defensive back, and right away off that mesh, I saw Zach Roseman pop up, get a great platform, well balanced, put the ball as close to we like to call the kangaroo pouch, which is a safe throw, right in that mama's pouch, and he ran it right through the middle. Loved it.
The kick is up, and it is good by Westbrook, and Walton has now a 17-point lead. It's 31-14 with 14.7 seconds remaining here in half number 1. These unofficial stats one more time for you. 16 of 22 for 290 yards for Roseman, 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers.
The guy is the man. And hey, you know what? You know what winners typically have?
Good teammates, good
More-
coaches.
More points.
More
They're
points.
doing their job right now. But those answers you gave were accurate too. I'll tell you what, I hope we continue this wave of stats, because this is going to be a national. They're going to know about this nationally. This true freshman comes in, 7A football in Georgia, and he's coming in torching the place.
That was a 90-yard touchdown drive by the Raiders. Kick is away, and this one is going to be returnable. Picked up at the 2-yard line, and he is looking for some blocking. Has enough to get out to the 22-yard line. 9.7 seconds remaining, and let's see if Noonan tries to do something here, or if they just decide to take a knee and go into halftime trailing by 17, knowing that they're going to get the ball first to start the second half.
That was a play call there to burn some clock. Kick it to the 1, make him run it, burn some clock. Or could have been a miss kick. Who knows?
It was deep. I mean, he just didn't quite get enough of it to get it into the end zone for a touchback, but it was received at the 2-yard line. They will keep it on the ground. There's a handoff, and Walton was giving them a big cushion there, and that will do it. The clock stops, actually. Not quite enough for a first down.
Because they're moving the sticks, that's why.
Oh, it is enough for a first down.
But
Okay.
they'll run the clock as soon as they're not going to snap it. See
I thought he was short a yard or two, but they're going to go ahead and just wind the clock, and that was all they were really trying to do, was run the clock out.
Right. The ref had waved the sticks on for some reason, but they were technically a yard short.
So we are at halftime here in Raider Valley. Walton with a 31-14 lead on Newnan. However, Newnan will get the football to begin half number 2. So don't go anywhere, folks. Plenty of football left to be played here tonight. And what a tremendous first half of play for the freshman quarterback, Zach Roseman.
He's unbelievable, Tim. I can't wait to see what happens in the second half.
We will have that coming up for you here on Raider Vision. Back after this halftime entertainment from the 2 bands. We're going to see the Noonan band first, followed by the Walton band. And we're going to be back with second half action for you right here on Raider Vision.
the 2018 Walton High School Marching Raider Band. Principal Catherine Melanda, band directors John Palmer and Chris Johns, and the staff of Walton High School are proud to present the 2018 Raider Band as they perform this year's show titled Into That Good Night. This year's musical selections include the following: Into That Good Night, Fear of the Dark, Good Night, and Sunrise. Drum majors Dylan King, Chloe Carlson, Kelsey DeRava, and Auntie Hall. Is the band ready? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the Walton High School Marching Raider Band. gentlemen, the Walton High School Marching Raider Band. The Walton High School Band is under the direction of John Palmer and his Johns, percussion staff Scott Brown and James Cruz, and guard staff Pepe Ochoa and Nicky Elliott. This year, band is ready to show you just enjoyed for a variety of competitions this fall, including a trip to the Bands of America Super Regional Competition in St. Louis, Missouri, the weekend of October 26th and 27th. On behalf of the entire band and staff, thank you so much for your support. Enjoy the second half and go Raiders!
All righty, we're back here at Raider Valley, getting ready for the start of half number 2 between Walton and Newnan. It'll be Walton kicking the football off to the Noonan Cougars. Walton leading this one by 17. 31-14 is the score, and what a first half of play for the Walton Raiders, and especially 15-year-old Zach Roseman, 15 years old today. Today's his birthday. Can you believe that?
We're like triple his age.
That I didn't want to put out there, but yeah, you may be triple his age. I'm a little bit more than triple, unfortunately.
I'm actually a little less.
It's
Sorry.
like twisting the knife every chance he can, just twisting the knife in me.
Well, the bottom line is what you said was the kid is going out there and he's playing. Coach Hirschfeld has done such a great job, not with just play calling and switching up, you know, when to call a pass, when to call an easy pass, when to call the run, but his preparation for this game. Coach Hirschfeld was exactly right when he was talking about we're going to go out there and play. Everything that we practice for, our game plan is fully on.
The kickoff is another touchback for Jake Westbrook.
1 yard deep in the end zone.
And Noonan will have the football first down and 10 from their own 20-yard line as we begin this second half of play here from Raider Valley.
So long as we don't let 9 routes get behind us, those go routes, I feel pretty good about this.
Yep, they did hit a couple big ones against what really is the strength of this Walton defense is that secondary. Noonan able to hit a couple of long passes that's kind of kept them in this game somewhat to this point. And we'll see if the Raider defense can tighten up that coverage a little bit here in the second half. I formation behind the quarterback who's up under center, and you almost rarely see that these days. They'll throw the play action, though. Pass complete out to the right side, and a pickup of about 10 yards. Looks like it's going to be good enough for a Noonan first down, and they'll move the chains. Ball will now be spotted at the 31-yard line after an 11-yard pickup.
You know, smart call. When you go I formation, you got tight end, and you also got 2 running backs, what you're going to get commonly is a stacked box, which means you're going to also have a soft corner.
This time they keep it on the ground. Huge hole up the middle. Another first down pickup for the Cougars, this time out beyond the 45-yard line. They'll spot it at the 47.
Stop made by Brandon Spencer for the Raiders.
Looks like they've gone through some adjustments or confirmations, like we know they do this in this formation, and we know that we can run on this particular look. It looks like they've got a couple things nailed down.
That was a 17-yard pickup by Aubrey Carter.
Coming right back
they'll
at
give it to him again. This time he's met in the backfield and stopped for no gain. They throw a flag in late, and I think this might be some kind of extracurricular deal here after the play was blown dead, and let's see what they're going to call.
You're right. That's exactly what they're going to call.
It's a personal foul, and it's going to go against the Raiders. So that will not help, guys. They'll tack on 15, and it's an automatic first down for the Cougars. Inside the Walton 40 now at the 38.
Just a little too much. You got to hear the whistle, and you got to go ahead and stop. You know, they want to apply and finish with dominance and make sure that characteristic is felt. When you're a defensive guy, that's what you want to do to dominate the field and gain respect. And unfortunately, they just went a little too far. Still got to have to respect those whistles. I could have sworn their tight end was lined up in the neutral zone.
Keep it on the ground again, and driven out of bounds by B.J. Gibson that time is the ball carrier for the Cougars. And this time on the carry for Noonan, number 4. And I don't have his number here on the 2 deep roster. But a pickup of about 6 yards. So it'll be second down and 4. Ball spotted at the Walton 33 now. Noonan moving the football here. The 15-yard penalty certainly helps. Raiders defense needs to tighten up. This time they go with a 5-man front. A flag comes in, and that is 2 flags come in. And I think this is going to be a hold on Noonan. And we've got an injured Cougar down there on the bottom of the pile. That does not look good as he's grabbing his left knee, and hate to see these guys grab that knee. It's just an awful, awful thing to see. He got up pretty quick, though, and he's going to try to stay in the game, but they're going to take him out. It's one of their offensive linemen for the Cougars. Number 73, Austin Stewart, the 275-pound senior, comes out of the ballgame. He ran off the field. He's fine. He got dinged a little bit, but they will step this off against Noonan.
Their line definitely outweighs our line, and we got to beat them with quickness and speed and smarts. But this is a great reason why they run that I formation and try to go downhill. It's like being in a boxing match with George Foreman.
Second down and 19 now for the Cougars.
Should see a 43 front here, and that's 4 guys hands down. And you have 3 linebackers because you got tight end set with 2 backs. They're bringing heat backside.
Play action
there we
pass,
go.
Pressure. Connor West forces him outside. Pass is going to be complete, shy of first down yardage, and dropped there at the 35, which will be about 7 yards short of the first down. 3rd down and 7.
Be interesting what this flag is.
I did see that flag come in, and Newnan seems to think it's going to go against the Raiders, but they're going to have their choice of whether to accept the penalty or keep the result of the play here.
They're gonna keep the play. It's an additional 5 yards than what they would have.
.9:47 left to go, 3rd quarter. Walton up by 17, trying to remain unbeaten, and it looks like they're actually going to mark this off against Noonan. I thought the way that
they're taking the flat.
One of the Noonan players turned around to his bench, it looked like he was.
They're taking the penalty.
They are going to take the penalty. Okay.
The call is defensive holding.
Well, that keeps it at 2nd down. So now it's instead of a 3rd and 7, they've got a 2nd and 10. So they got two downs basically to make 10 yards instead of 1 to make 7. So Noonan, probably a smart move on their part, accept that penalty. Go with 2nd and 10. McGinnis drops back. Now he's forced out of the pocket, and he's going to ends up picking up positive yardage,
headshot.
2 yards.
They're going to say a headshot.
Now, see, this rule is so difficult for the defensive players because oftentimes you're in position to make a clean hit, and then the ball carrier lowers his head.
That's exactly what just happened.
And that's what we saw right there. And we see it all the time. When you watch games on Saturdays and Sundays, you see that exact situation that I just described. You see it happen every day. It's really a terrible call. The official sees the helmet-to-helmet contact and they throw the flag, but if they go back and look at this play tomorrow, the officials review their own game film, they're going to see we probably shouldn't have called that.
Yeah, it's just so sensitive of a call. By the way, in 2 weeks they're having a vote to change football to fluff ball.
Well, there is isn't there a professional flag football league? It's out now. I just can't imagine they're going to get a lot of viewers. But there's a big hit in the backfield, but he's able to spin off the tacklers, and he ends up getting positive yardage. Another flag comes in this time, and let's see what this one is.
Great defensive call, great backer blitz to the play side. And we've got to hold on. We've got to wrap up. And even if we hold them up, we'll let our teammates corral and rally around and bring the guy down. Anyway, we got to wrap up. At least we got a hold here. Is that the call?
I never did see the indication from the official, but they are going to mark it off against the Cougars. Here it comes. It is a hold against Noonan.
The call is holding against the Cougars. The ball we placed on the 34-yard line. Big up a 1st and 23 from the 34.
Here we go. 1st down and about 25 is what it looks like. They're going to look over the middle, and that one is going to be picked off. I believe it's Farr on the interception. Farr's got some room to run.
Oh, don't go
he
inside.
breaks one tackle, and now he gets hit. But you're right, he went inside when he had the entire sideline over there all to himself if he chose to go out that way. Either way, now we're even in the turnover ratio, 2-2, and a big stop by the Walton defense.
Mikey Farr didn't want to go too far away from our sideline. He should have gone all the way to Noonan's sideline. I cannot believe he cut in. What did he see? But great job by our defense to be around the ball, make the play. I'm actually a little surprised he threw that ball into that many guys. Way overthrew that bang 8. And a bang 8 is a hard post where they're running basically a 5-step and run to the goal post.
So Zach Roseman enjoying a very happy
Bubble.
birthday so far. They're going to
Throw.
It's going to be a double pass. Alford.
Do something with it.
It's
Do
Tegan
something with
Vieira
it.
open. It's complete.
Watch the ball.
Vieira is going to be dragged down inside the Noonan 35. They'll spot it at around the 33-yard line, it looks like. But the double pass works out. And Tegan Vieira with a big reception.
So in the QBIQ world, we have 4 reasons to throw deep, Tim. And the one reason is on sudden change, let her rip. That was a sudden change. That was one of the reasons.
43-yard reception for Tegan Vieira. So Alford can throw the football, Blaylock can throw the football, and obviously Zach Roseman can throw the football because he just did it again, complete to Alford.
They brought heat from the outside edge, and I'll tell you what, Zach Roseman got the ball out of that mesh and was able to hit his guy. He is tough. The kid is tough. He's got some moxie. He'll stay in there no matter the heat applied.
7-yard pickup, 2nd down and 3. We got a stoppage here just for a moment. Roseman coming over to the sideline. Looks like
he did
maybe
something to his elbow.
Shoulder pad strap or something.
I think he's bleeding, and he had to do something about the blood. He hit his right around his elbow. He hit it, and there's blood. So we're going to go right to the Wildcat and see what we can do with that.
You know what? We thought we were going to see a lot of this tonight with Kirksey not playing. This is, I believe, the first Wildcat snap we're going to see all night.
Yeah.
And what does he do? He goes to the air and completes it to Alford, and Alford spins forward, and he's got enough, well, not quite. He picked up maybe a yard on the play.
You got to love Coach Hirschfeld. His feel for calling the plays, I really enjoy it. He's an artist with his play calls. And it's not so much art, it's based on science. He's calling it to what he sees, but there's such a feel to it.
And
Jet.
Once again, Blaylock in the Wildcat formation.
Okay.
Say Wildcat, we could say shotgun. I mean, he just threw the football. He's going to run it this time, though. He's got some blockers outside.
Got the edge.
And he might turn it up. There is a flag that came in, and it's going to be one of these blocks on the edge out here. That is the reason for the flag. But Blaylock had first down yardage and got inside the Noonan 15. But the penalty is likely going to bring it back.
All right, so Zach's got his arm taped up where he had the problem. It was some sort of cut or something that was going on from the hit from the outside backer blitz. But like the tough soldier we thought he is still that. Here we go.
First down. First and 10 for the Raiders from the 13-yard line.
Well, another advantage situation here. Excellent scenario for the Walton Raiders to do something with this. They got an available first down and 10 yards, and then they'll be first and goal from there. So they got a couple opportunities here to score. Here we go.
Bad snap, and good job by Roseman to just lunge over to his left and fall on that football. Sometimes you just got to react that way, and he made a smart play to just fall on the football that time. Sometimes you'll see guys run after it and try to pick it up. They ended up tapping it around, and before you know it, the defense is on top of the football. So I give Roseman a a check for a good play on that one.
Absolutely. Showing some maturity, not trying to do something extra special, stay within himself, and being smart.
Second down and 17, play action pass.
Seam,
He's
touchdown.
got Alford for the touchdown. Fourth touchdown pass of the night for Roseman. A 20-yard completion to K.D. Alford, and the Raiders are on the board yet again. And again, these unofficial stats, that is now, he's over 300 yards passing, Zach Roseman, the freshman.
Let me remind you, it's only the third quarter, midway through.
6:14 left to play in the third, to be exact. 317 yards passing and 4 touchdown passes to 3 different receivers. Extra point by Westbrook is good, and the Raiders now enjoying a 24-point lead. It is 38-14 here in midway through the third quarter.
All right, so let's see what they're doing down here to Zach. They're doing a little bit of touch-up to his elbow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Walton Raider boys. Ladies and gentlemen, the Walton Raider boys. The Walton Raider cheerleaders.
So Walton set to kick this one off. Westbrook's had a good night. He's made a 42-yard field goal. He's made all of his extra points, and every single one of his kickoffs, except for one, has been a touchback. See if he's got another touchback in him here. Kick is away, and that one is going to be returnable. He had his foot just outside the goal line and is going to be dropped, and that one works out for the Raiders as he gets out to the 17-yard line, and that is where Noonan will take over, first down and 10.
Great shoestring tackle by number 32 for the Walton Raiders. Excellent stay in your lane discipline, and then squeeze and constrict as you get closer to the ball.
That is Drew Pritz, the guy you're talking about, making the stop. And we got a Cougar down on the field, right where the tackle was made. So while they tend to him, we can update you on some other scores from around the state of Georgia. Some big-time matchups here in Georgia high school football tonight. Grayson leading Colquitt, I should say, 14-10. That's a halftime score. Also at the half, Buford leading Archer 17-13. It is Milton trailing Parkview 30-13. That one's in the third quarter. Brookwood with a commanding lead over Berkmar, 49-0. Woodstock, a region opponent of ours, leading North Forsyth 35-14. And the
That's
injured
number
player,
3, Elijah Williams,
Yep.
who's hobbling off the field now, but at least he's upright and moving.
Yep, he wants to do it himself. They want to help him, but he's like, let me do this. Looks like he's probably going to be all right. Other scores, we've got Roswell coming up here soon as an opponent for the Raiders. They lead Wheeler 19-12. That's a halftime score. My son Williams School, North Paulding leading Campbell 29-0. So North Paulding looks like they might stay unbeaten and improve to 5-0 on the season. Another big one from South Georgia. One last, and then I'll let you jump in here. Lowndes leading Valdosta 27-22. That one's in the second quarter.
By the way, you mentioned North Paulding. Ross Malmgren, I hope it hasn't changed, but he has not been sacked and has not thrown for an interception all year.
What'd you say his nickname was?
The Big Smooth.
The Big Smooth. Love it.
Man, he is so smart and accurate because he's on the QBIQ system, of course.
That's
But the bottom line is he's so smart and accurate. It's just challenging to get to him, number one, and make plays against that guy.
They've actually increased that lead to 39-0 now. So Noonan with some movement before the ball is snapped, and that'll move them back 5 yards. First down and 15 now. Ball spotted back at the 12-yard line. And they keep it on the ground this time, and they get it out to the 15. That's a pickup of 3.
On the stop for the Raiders. Alongside number 3.
So second and 12 for the Cougars. Down under 6 minutes left to play here, third quarter.
Dare I say, again, that you feel confident whenever the Walton Raider defense is out there, because these guys, they make plays. They're in position, very well coached. Here they go, running that comeback concept outside.
Pass intended over there on the right sideline, incomplete. And it's going to be third down and 12 now.
When you're on the left middle hash where you're throwing to the far side of the field, I got to tell you guys, in high school, those hashes are so far wide. You have to have a military issue cannon on the right side of your arm, and it's just unreal. It's so long. And when you go to college, all of a sudden you're like, man, it's so easy to make these throws because the hashes are closer. And then when you get to the NFL, the hashes are on the uprights they're even closer. But that's because of the speed of the game. They do that.
This pass is a swing pass complete to the right side, and a great stop by Mahalik. And the ball was fumbled, and it's going to be Walton football. It should be.
Great hit.
It is. It's Walton football.
Hat on the ball. Unbelievable. And who? Mahalik. I'm telling you.
Huge hit.
The guy plays edge pressure like he meets the block. He sheds the block. He meets on the side of the ball with his helmet. It jars it away from him, and they're able to recover it. And we've got a great field position scenario here.
Mahalik, Gurr, Gibson, those guys in the Raider defensive backfield have played a lot of high school football in their careers. We're getting scores updated from our PA announcer that are way more updated than the ones I gave you a moment ago.
But we're on dial-up, so I'm pretty sure he's got better information.
Roseman hands it off. Soyoye on the carry off right tackle inside the 20, down close to the 16-yard line. That's only a pickup of about a yard, maybe 2 on the play. Second down and 9.
So 38-14 here with 5 minutes left. You got to love a couple run calls here just to burn some clock. Nothing too crazy. Oh, heck, why not? Pass it.
This is caught over here and dropped after a short gain. Jayan Patel.
That'll bring up a third down.
And he did not get much yardage at all. Looks like maybe 1 yard on the play.
I like the call, though. It basically keeps the pressure from focusing on inside the box and keeps everybody wide. Good play call. Just all it is it's a short, low-risk throw that's a replacement for the run, but also, okay,
play
that's
action,
what I'm talking
pass
about.
Is complete over the middle, and it is a touchdown. That's Drew Pritz on the touchdown reception, the 4th different Raider to catch a touchdown pass.
I'm going to tell you, listen, that stretch play and the commitment, when you fake the ball, the linebacker's job is to run support, come in, stop the run. And where we're running that shallow is right where they're leaving. So the linebackers come up, we run that little shallow cross right behind them. We pull the ball from the running back, throw the little dart to our receiver, he runs for a touchdown. Easy game plan. Tell you what, Coach Hirschfeld is just drawing them up, not making it complicated. Unbelievable. Good stuff.
Westbrook once again with the extra point. And the Raiders now lead it 45-14 with 4:16 left to play here in the third quarter. 5 touchdown passes for 15-year-old Zach Roseman. 333 yards passing. I think the offense is in good hands while Austin gets that ankle healed up.
I haven't blinked in 8 minutes. I'm in astonishment. This is just awesome. Roseman is killing it, and I just love seeing quarterbacks tear it up. I'm so happy for the kid.
Chris Hickson is catatonic up here. He hasn't blinked in 8 minutes.
I asked your son for some ice, and he said he couldn't find any, and I almost passed out.
Can somebody send a doctor? We are in the top level of the press box, far left.
I'm the guy on the ground.
This kickoff is returnable once again, picked up on the 1 yard line.
Squeeze.
And he gets out across the 25.
Do you see the timing of that pocket around the I mean, it was, the discipline is awesome. I tell you, I don't know if the kids are so coachable or the coaching staff is so detailed in the way that they coach. It's just the connection point of mental and the physical traits that are taking place over here. I love watching it.
4:09 left to play. The third quarter from Raider Valley, and Walton with a 31-point lead on the Noonan Cougars.
Okay, come on.
There's a handoff, and it's going to be a pickup of about 5 yards, maybe 6 on first down. Grant Jensen on the stop.
57 got off his block and squeezed in on that, and then kind of hung on him for a few yards until he got help. Good job by the D-line.
2nd down and 4 for the Cougars from the 34-yard line. I formation again.
Trying
this
to go
time,
up top.
play
9
action
route.
pass.
Oh, no, the out route.
And this one is
Picked.
picked off. Are they going to say he bobbled it? No, it's an interception. Drew Mihalik with a pick. And now Walton ahead in the turnover battle, 3-2. And a flag comes in very late. This is going to be some kind of a celebration type penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct type thing. I think maybe on Trey Middleton, the way he reacted as he was coming off the field. It is going to be unsportsmanlike conduct against the Raiders.
It's hard not to be excited, but you got to control yourself. And I can only tell you, if it was a competitive scoreboard, Coach Bruner would be off his chain. You got to be smart. You can't make, any mistakes that are just controllable. That's a controllable scenario.
Well, even without the competitive scoreboard, I guarantee you they're not happy about that. You want to see your team. Don't make the mistakes that are preventable, and that's a preventable mistake. You got to keep your emotions in check. Because this game may be in hand at this point, but you're building something bigger than just this game here tonight. You're planning down the road, and you want to build on each week, and you want to take all the positive stuff from one week on into the next week. They're going to keep it on the ground here. Soyoye is going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. They may give him about a half yard.
We'd love to see this drive, make it all the way to the fourth quarter. Take some time off the clock. A lot of manageable, low-risk throws. Replacing somebody here. 71's coming out. Replacing him with 75. No, the play clock hasn't even. There it goes. I was about to say, both the play clock and the game clock hadn't started.
Might see a heavy dose of Soyoye here. They're going to hand it to him again, but there's really not much room for him to run as he's met at the line of scrimmage once again, this time driven back for a loss of a yard. So we're back where we started. Instead of 1st and 10, it's now 3rd and 10.
Loss of a few on the play. That'll bring up a 3rd and 11.
There's not a lot of calls. 3rd and 10 is a tough scenario to achieve. You want to make something happen here, but you don't want to get too crazy. So here they go. They're just running a jet. Keep it on the ground.
Jet sweep, and they did keep it on the ground. They got nowhere. It's going to be 4th down and 10 now for the Raiders. And thinking we're going to see Pollock come on to punt the football away, and we will.
Down, number 44, Charlie Pollock will be in punt
Let the
formation
play
for
clock
the
tick.
Raiders.
Let it tick.
Charlie Pollock, one of the top-ranked punters in the entire country, but he's got linebacker size. He's 6'1", about 230, and you know, a lot of that 230 is in those legs.
He's the high school Reggie Roby.
Gets his leg into it. It's going to be a low line drive kick, and it is returnable. And what a move! Several moves there by the return man for Noonan.
Great play by 57 there.
Yep, that was Elijah Williams on the return. He got injured a series or two ago, and seems like he's back to full strength based on that return.
Cougars will take over 1st and 10 with 1 minute 6 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
So
he went over and had a Snickers bar, came back in, he's ready to rock.
He's not like himself when he's hungry.
Danny DeVito.
So Noonan with the football now, 1st and 10 from their own 48-yard line. 1 minute 6 seconds remaining here in the third quarter of play.
Trips to the boundary. Got quarterback draw.
This is a different quarterback in there. Flag comes in, tossed right near the line of scrimmage.
Number 15, Logan Hudson, and a quarterback.
Usually, when you see those flags thrown right near the line of scrimmage, you're going to get a holding call.
Number 63, Jonathan Chesser, checking in the game for the Raiders.
So the officials talking things over here. And it is going to be, I think that's a chop block.
The call is a chop block against the Cougars.
So chop block. One blocker has the defender engaged up high. Another one comes in low.
That'll be a 15-yard penalty.
And you can't do that. That's how guys get injured. And so a 15-yard mark-off. It's going to be 1st down and 25.
Yeah, if you've ever seen those films where one guy's engaged and another guy gets a hit from the side down low, it's not fun to watch. It's one of those kind of hits that make you cringe. Stretch, keep.
Quarterback keeps it this time and runs right up that right hash and gets out across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Pickup of 7.
Number 7, Malik Adams, got an injury timeout on the field.
And we got a player down for the Raiders, it looks like.
Number 49.
49, I believe, is Jaden Smith. Defensive lineman for the Raiders. Cannot afford any more injuries, I'll tell you that much. This team has been hit hard with the injury bug. It was a big win last week, but boy, I tell you what, they paid the price in the injury department. Bear Jones, starting offensive lineman, out. Austin Kirksey, starting quarterback, out. We did see some guys get injured and come back into the game, including Kirksey last week. Jaden Smith's walking off under his own power here. Very slight little hitch in his gait there, but
he's okay.
He's definitely looks like he'll be able to continue if they need him.
Number 63, Jonathan Chesser in the game for the Raiders.
31.3 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Clock running now. 2nd down and looks like 17. Short drop. Pass is overthrown and well covered over there. And I believe it was far on the coverage.
So we've got a new quarterback in the game. He's a lefty, and I'll tell you what, he's got that kind of low elbow release. It's like a baseball type release. But whenever you have a low elbow release inside football, you raise a little bit to release, and it always makes the counter to bring it down hard. It usually overthrow guys, just like he just did. He overthrew.
That is Logan Hudson, the quarterback in there for the Cougars. He's going to hand it off this time. Big hole left side. 1st down yardage, that time for Hussey. inside Walton territory down to the 41-yard line. That's going to be enough to move the chains. A big pickup for Hussey.
That's one of those plays that, you know, your coaching staff, it's done exactly like you draw it up. The blocks achieved their leverage points, and what that means is you got your hat on the right side of the guy. And you got to the second level, you were able to get cut off the linebacker from flow and commitment to the running back. And the running back hit the hole with 100 miles an hour. That's exactly how that took place.
That'll do it for quarter number 3. Here from Raider Valley, 3 quarters in the books. Raiders leading Noonan 45-14 as we head to the 4th and final quarter. You know, last week we were talking about this time of the game, we were saying, 8 or so minutes left in regulation because it looked like that kind of a game the way last week was going. I don't think we have to say that here tonight. Mainly just want to get out of here tonight without anyone else getting injured.
No doubt, and I know that's on Coach's mind as well. You want to be smart. You also want to get younger guys a chance to play. Not only do you want them to, be on the fields and conserve your guys' energy levels and health, but at the same time, you want to get your younger guys a chance to get on the field and get some experience.
Want to remind everybody, if you're at the game this evening, you can take your ticket stub or your Walton Raider ID to Zuka Bar and Pizzeria during fall break. Dine in only, buy one, get one free pizza.
So we got another injury update, and it's not good. Tanner Daniels, who Walton relies on in the passing game a good bit, only 1 catch tonight for 34 yards. It was a big one, but he is out with a collarbone injury, and pretty much the only injury you can have to a collarbone is a broken collarbone. So that is not good news for Tanner Daniels. That is a big loss for the Walton Raiders. Have you ever heard of any other injury to a collarbone other than a broken collarbone? I haven't.
No.
That pass is way off the mark as Hudson released that one a little too early. It seemed like he was had a little bit of fear in him from the Walton pass rush, and the receiver didn't break off his route and come back to it.
You cannot change up your foot count in a drop back. You cannot. It's going to – Bill Walsh is turning over right now. Your timing of the game is dependent upon the quarterback's footwork and the receiver's footwork. Expectation of spot of the throw. Completely had it off there. Got to be on the same page. But yet, for the Walton Raiders, that's a good thing for them.
2nd down and 10.
Stretch.
They keep it on the ground, and Walton should have had this guy in the backfield, and he has picked up very close to first down yardage. That is Hussey on the carry for Noonan. And we had an opportunity to get him for about an 8-yard loss, and he ends up gaining 8.
I could give you probably 4 different examples on that play of how we did not wrap up. Later in the season, when you get an opponent and you build this as a characteristic of not wrapping up, it's going to cost you.
3rd down and 2, 10:25 left to play in the ball game. There is a handoff, right side, 1st down and more. Mikey Farr in on the stop, along with Connor West, I believe. Inside the 25 down to the 24. And as a defense right now for the Raiders, it comes down to pride. You want to keep these guys from getting another touchdown. They've given up 2 already tonight, and the game certainly at this point is in hand, you would think, but there's still that pride that you have as a defensive unit. Try to keep the offense out of the end zone again. 10:06 left to go here. I believe the timeout was called by the Raiders, because on the board they've got 2 timeouts remaining. Noonan still with 3 timeouts remaining. So Walton calling the timeout.
They actually had that wrong on the board earlier, but they just fixed it. You know, it's just fun to talk about quarterback and the stats that has taken place tonight between Zach Roseman and KD and obviously Don Blaylock and all the different guys, and throwing to 4 different receivers for touchdowns. I'm going to tell you right now, as being from the quarterback position coaching it, I'm going to tell you that I love seeing dominance at the quarterback position in offensive scheme. And also, Coach Hirschfeld has been unbelievable in play calls. His preparation for Zach Roseman as well.
There's the handoff to Hussey once again, met by a host of Raider tacklers, picks up 3 yards, this time down to about the 22-yard line.
Tim, it's plays like that that make a defensive coordinator happy. You see everybody flying to the ball. You had about 7 or 8 guys that could somewhat get a half tackle on that.
So 2nd down and 7, 9.5 minutes remaining. I formation behind the quarterback, and they will pitch it left side. Old-fashioned toss sweep here to Hussey. He's got first down yardage again inside the 15 down to the 11. They will move the chains once again.
So this is what, I mean, you're going to see a team that they run the ball really well. They're a big downhill I formation team. You've got some replacements in at defense. You've got soft coverage because of the situation. We're up 45 to 14. Of course, you're going to see some discipline and successful runs, just like this one right here for a touchdown.
It was a little too easy that time, so we were talking about that pride. Walton called the defensive timeout. I'm wondering if that was brought up over there on the sideline during that timeout. Well, whatever was talked about during that timeout didn't work for the Raiders, as that drive for Noonan, several long runs, was way too easy for the Noonan offense.
Yeah, just goes down to the characteristics that we just mentioned. Now, what we want to do on offense when we get the ball back, you probably know there's going to be an onside attempt coming. What we want to do is be able to first, have our hands team in and get the ball secured, and then we want to run the ball. We want to run the ball, take 2 to 3 minutes off. If we can get a first down or 2, this game is a wash. But with 8 minutes and 52 seconds left, we would just hopefully tick those seconds away and just walk out of here with a pretty considerable victory.
45-21 the score, 8:52 left to go here in what should be a Walton victory. They'll improve to 5-0 on the season. Clock is running for some reason. Wondering if anyone's going to notice this. Clock just started rolling.
Yeah.
So about 10 seconds have ticked off the clock already. It's still rolling.
So it's 24 points the auto.
I mean, if you're Walton, I think you're okay with this because, you just want to get out of here. Like I said, don't have anyone else get injured. But
shoot, if you're Noonan, you might be okay with this.
Are we? That's true. Are we the only ones who've noticed this, though? I mean, at least 25 seconds have ticked off the clock. I want to say it was 8:51 when the clock started rolling.
All right, here we go. We're going to get an onside. Listen, they care if they onside it. If they don't, still up for answer. Here we go.
They're going to pooch it, and it is going to be recovered by the Raiders over there. Someone's helmet comes flying off.
Number 22. Helmet is off.
That's Jeb Carrier, so I got his pronunciation corrected as well from our friend in Kosovo.
Oh, was it really? South Georgia. I'd love to hear that guy's accent.
So we got
Kosovo, South Georgia. All right, so I'm pretty much imagining Coach Hirschfeld's going to call a zone play here. Uh-oh, new quarterback. Got Hunter Bloom coming in. Number 16, Hunter Bloom, another QBIQ quarterback.
He's going to keep it on the ground, and the Walton running game, aside from a couple of large pickups by Soyoye, the Walton running game has had a tough time getting going tonight. So a bye week for the Raiders coming up next week. And then after the bye week, it is back here in Raider Valley Friday October 5th, as the Raiders will play host to the Lassiter Trojans in their first region game. It's military night that night. They'll keep it on the ground once again. And this is it Stokes? Yeah, Stokes on the carry. Unhappy, wanted to break that tackle because he had some room. If he could have broken that one tackle, it did have some room back out to the right side there. But 3rd and 15 now.
So it's exciting to see another one of you guys go in. Hunter Bloom, a guy who's been working with me for years. Love watching this guy play. You know, I'm going to tell you, you talk about strong arms. He reminds me of the high school version of Ben Roethlisberger.
That is high praise and a nice problem to have when you have your starting quarterback. There's a fumble on the pitch, and things starting to get sloppy here for the Raiders. And I know that, like we said, this game seems to be in hand. But look, Noonan recovers that football. Let's see. No, it's Walton recovering the ball, but now it's 4th down. Going to give the ball back to the Cougars.
Let's just punt it.
And you know what? Those 45 or 50 seconds that ticked off the clock, I don't know if anyone noticed it other than us. Doesn't seem like. They might end up being a huge deal, depending on how things shake out here the last 5 minutes or so of this football game.
Yeah, I hope not.
I hope not either.
But I tell you, it'll certainly get our heart rates up and give us a little run for our money.
Oh my gosh!
I tell you,
Things
it's
getting real
ugly.
sloppy. This is not going to be a good next week of practice for these Raiders. A bye week. You're supposed to have a chance to relax, recover a little bit, but I have a feeling they're going to be getting their heads back on straight.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach will get them focused. You know, a lot of times when you get out ahead so far, this is exactly what happens. Good job, good containment. Great job. That was great punt. You don't want to run through your lane assignments. You stay in your lane, and you settle, and you squeeze and constrict, but never let the man outside. Number 9 did an excellent job for that. That was textbook right there of punt lane discipline. Looked like he may have hurt himself there.
Elijah Williams on the return gets it to the 41-yard line of Noonan. Again, clock rolling here.
Is there a rule in Georgia that I don't know about?
Talking about like a mercy rule type situation. I didn't think the score that we had on the scoreboard qualified for it, but maybe that is the case.
Maybe it's 24 points or something, or 20. I don't know. That doesn't.
I mean, there is a mercy rule. I don't know the exact numbers as far as what the score has to be and how much time remaining and all that, but maybe that's the case.
Well, we're basically in a cover 3, 43 cover 3, so that means 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and a cover 3, 3 people deep in the defensive backfield.
Boy, Noonan really finding some holes here in this Walton defensive front. Picks up 6 yards on 1st down. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
I'm not sure. I don't think they've taken out their starting linemen. Their starting linemen are still in there. So they're going to take this JV group, or I think it's our JV, I'm not sure, and move them around a little bit.
Yeah, we've got some younger guys in there getting some action for the Raiders defensively. That's a good thing. This is good experience, even if they're getting run on. That was
okay. Good deal.
Incomplete pass there. 3rd down and 4 now.
That was an incomplete pass, and the clock is running, so there has to be a mercy rule. It cannot, right?
Yeah. I would think somebody would have noticed something by now because the clock's been rolling in several instances where normally it would have been stopped.
Number 40, Javon Smalls in the game for the Raiders.
This is good experience for these guys, again, regardless of if they're giving up these big chunks of yardage, just to be out there on a Friday night going against the first teamers of Noonan. By the way,
Tim, you got that right.
2-2 coming into this game. They're going to fall to 2-3. Noonan is a perennial playoff team. This is not a bad football team lining up on the other side here tonight.
2 years ago, I went and saw their game opener, their season opener, and it was in the West Georgia Stadium. And I'm going to tell you something. I looked at them. They were big. They ran solid. They were super disciplined. They're not as good as that team 2 years ago, but you can see I love their offense. Their offense is sound. They run downhill stuff, and they're disciplined. They run their blocking schemes are all correct. Everything that they do is they just don't match up, I don't think, with the tenacious defense that we have running around all over the place and being disciplined and always in position.
They keep it on the ground once again. Big hole, left side, close to first down yardage again. And the only question now is the Walton's going to win the football game. They'll remain unbeaten, 5-0 on the season. Bye week coming up next week before they start their region schedule against Lassiter the first Friday in October. Only question now is, can they keep Noonan out of the end zone one more time? This would be big for these young guys to be able to do that. They do pick up the first down on 3rd and short. We are down under a minute left to play, however. And that sense of pride that I was talking about, that goes both ways. Walton's trying to keep him out of the end zone. Noonan, they want to get in the end zone one more time and have something positive to build on going into their next football game.
That's right, and there's no doubt they want to do that, create some momentum for the season and their film room, a great way to end the game, some positive.
Yeah, they just got forced out of bounds on that tackle, and clock's still rolling, so this might,
so it's confirmed.
I'm going to say
well, yet again.
We must have had the mercy rule applied here as we're down to 10 seconds left to go. Maybe one more snap here.
Come on, babe. Lefty, throw the fade. Ah, come on.
Whoa. There is a beautiful hit
on
what is going to be the final play of the football game. And what a way to end this football game. That was outstanding.
58 is excited. He is pumped. Or is that 59?
Well,
it's 59. It's 59.
That is Eric Wan.
Well, he's
is
pumped.
Number 59, so he made a huge play to end this football game. And your final score is Walton 45, Noonan 21. And what a big night for the freshman quarterback who celebrated his birthday today. He's got more time to celebrate before
hold on.
Before tomorrow. He's got another 2 hours.
Did you say his birthday's today?
Yes, Zach Roseman's birthday today.
You know, last Friday was Austin Kirksey's birthday.
That's fantastic. So Roseman, again, these stats unofficial. Roseman, 20 of 26 tonight, 333 yards passing, 5 touchdown passes to 4 different receivers. Just a tremendous performance for the freshman quarterback for the Raiders, filling in for Austin Kirksey. And what a night for the Raiders as they remain unbeaten on the season. Thanks to everyone here involved in Raider Vision. You're seeing the names on the screen right now. Pete English does a great job as always. We always appreciate everything he does, all the work he puts in behind the scenes and all the help he gets from all the crew volunteering to bring you this broadcast. So thanks to everyone. Chris Hickson, thank you, sir. I've had a lot of fun these last couple of weeks. Hopefully we can do it again a couple of weeks from tonight when the Raiders are back out here hosting Lassiter in their first region game.
Tim, thanks so much. I appreciate it. I love everybody here that works the broadcast. It's fun to watch wins and talk everybody through it.
Yep, certainly is. So hopefully the Raiders in this bye week will have a chance to heal up a little bit. There's a lot of injuries, but I tell you what, so far we've seen a lot of guys stepping up with that next man up type mentality. And so far so good for the Raiders. 5-0 on the season. Look to make it 6-0 in 2 weeks against Lassiter. Thanks for checking us out here on Raider Vision, folks, and we'll see you back in 2 weeks' time.